Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Shoson. I'm the coordinator of Democracy for Nigeria. This organization is a political action committee aimed to develop democracy and train political aspirants in Nigeria. Democracy for Nigeria is a new initiative to help aspirants with the right tools and resources to run the best campaign ever. We believe people who are in political office want Nigerians discouraged from running and competing in the marketplace of ideas. We want to fix that by making politics easier to understand and making it easier for people to run for political office. The same people who hold office have made it harder to get on the ballot, harder to raise money, and created roadblocks to keep people out. This program is about empowering you and helping you to break down those barriers so that your voice and your ideas can be heard. We need to have more people involved with our political process and more good people running for political office because we need more competition in the marketplace of ideas. It is the only way we are going to make things better for our country. We need more good people involved in the process, people willing to tell the truth and speak the truth with power, people of integrity who are running for the right reasons, people who are authentic, down to heart, and want the job not to serve themselves or pack their pockets, but to solve problems and improve the lives of others. Already, we have been enlisting members across the country, especially in Lagos State, where we have various training centers and also have been galvanizing support from political elites across the country. Democracy for Nigeria, DFN, will help aspirants to determine what political office to run for and what you need in terms of people, money, and strategies. We have put together a training to support the progressive, run a very successful grassroots campaign. We have also helped regular people across the 36 states of the Federation. We are offering you what you cannot see anywhere in Nigeria. We will be conducting online training every Tuesday of the week. Next week, we will conduct the next section, which is getting started with your campaign. The video of this training will be available on our website immediately after the training. And if you have any question concerning this training, you can email us at careerfornigeria.org. You can see that on our screen. You can always visit our website www.democracyfornigeria.org. So let's start by stating the objective of the section. By the end of this section, you will know what factors to consider in choosing the right local office for you to pursue and have tangible next steps to take towards victory. What we are trying to tell you in essence is that by the end of this section, when we finish this section, you will be able to understand which political office and what is the right step you can win the election. So let me state the agenda of this section, of today's section, what we are going to discuss on this section. First of all, we are going to start with assessing your local political landscape. The second thing we are going to discuss is figuring out your campaign capacity. How do you figure out your campaign capacity? Then the third one is, how do you match yourself with the right office? That is, matching you with the right office. Then the last on the agenda is taking the next step. Then how do you take the next step?
Hello there. My name is Janet Olaniyi. I'm the training manager for this organization, DFN. Before we expatiate on the agenda for this session, We would like to get some interaction with you. We don't want you to just sit there and just take the information in. We want to also hear from you. The first question we ask you is, are you a potential candidate? Are you already running for office, or you are a member of a campaign organization? Please let us know. The second question would like to ask you, what office are you considering contesting for? If you are a potential candidate, you will want to think about what constituencies that you care about the most. If you care about federal issues, maybe councillorship of a local government is not the best for you. So think about which people you want to represent and what level you can most effectively represent those people.
And the last question we would like to post is, why do you want to run? The reason why you are running. You know, this is very important. You have to think about this properly. Don't rush it. The reason why you are running. You know, you can sit down at home and list all those reasons that you are contesting, why you are contesting for that particular post you want to contest for. Let's say, for example, you are running to help people who are elected represent their sponsor, which we call, instead of the people that elected them into the office. So they represent their godfather instead of the people that elected them into the office. Really, we would like to thank you so much for, we had about 200 people that signed up for this webinar, and there are approximately 35 people who are participating. Good for you for getting trained now so that you can impact your community. All right. It is very important to know that not all offices are created equal. In different places, different offices require different level of commitment, different skill level, and different campaigns. To let you guys understand what we are saying here, we have a tale of two governors. As many of you may be familiar with his name, Babatunde Fashola, the governor of Lagos State, with a population of 20 million, he spent about 10 billion naira for his re-election campaign in 2000 reach.
On the other side, however, Umaru Amakura is a governor of a state in Nigeria called Nasarawa, with a population of 4.5 million. We believe Amakura spent 120 million naira and won the election. The reason we show you these two examples is that both of these people ran for governor, but they have vastly different constituencies and vastly different campaigns. As we are moving forward in your campaign, it is very important to know what the local landscape entails. In fact, you need to know what you are getting yourself into.
Now, let us start with the main discussion of today's section. I think my colleague will take this point, Mrs. Janet will take this point as one by as we proceed.
As earlier mentioned, that in this session, we are going to consider how you assess your landscape, your campaign capacity, matching the two, and then the next step to take. We start with assessing your landscape. Under the assessing the landscape, there are some things you need to consider. The scale. How many voters are in your ward? You need to think about that. If you do not know the answer to this question, you are going to go to your local board of election to get the answer. You can find out how many registered voters are in your ward, location of the polling booths, etc. It is very important to know. Obviously, if you have 200 voters in your ward, for example, it will be easy to knock on doors. But if your ward contains 8,000 voters, you have to be thinking of a different strategy to compare voters to yourself. You also need to consider opposition still under assessing landscape. Who else is running? You need to think about that. First, you need to figure out who else is running. It may be multiple people running. If your opponent is the incumbent, you need to know their constituency, their momentum. Just get a sense of what you will be up against. That will help you figure out whether you can win the election.
The next point we would like to talk under assessing the landscape is the support. Support. Will your local party organization be behind you? The other thing you want to bear in mind is the support of your local party organization. Your local party organization might help you get more volunteers. They might even make a financial contribution and also help navigate the water. They know the electorate more because they have run elections there many times. They might be able to provide good advice for winning the election. The next point we would like to talk about is election type. This is a question you need to ask yourself. Is this a non-partisan race? Will there be a family? You need to know if you are running election twice. If there's going to be a family, hopefully you need to raise money twice. Mobilize those voters twice, which is going to be a little bit more work.
Knowing the time when certain events will take place is very important. So while considering assessing the landscape, you also think about the time. When is the election? You have to check how much time you have to get your campaign into high gear. The timetable for the election is displayed on the website of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. You can take your time to visit the nearest INEC office to get other information that cannot be accessed through their website.
The last question to consider when assessing the landscape is the question of resources. How much did the winner spend in the last contested election? You don't need to raise necessarily that amount of money to win. You can win with the people's power, grassroots operations, the kind that we are doing right now. So these are questions you need to answer before jumping into the race. The next on the agenda is the question of what is your campaign capacity? The first thing I want us to discuss under assessing, what is your campaign capacity is time. Time. How many hours per week can you dedicate to your campaign? You need to think systematically how many hours can you put into your campaign while still meeting up with other obligations.
Now is the time to judge yourself of how many friends would volunteer on a given Saturday. They could be friends, they could be family members. For a local campaign, it is very important to get people to start knocking on doors, making phone calls to persuade voters. Resources, you need money, though not at the initial stage, but you need to know how many friends will want to give you huge amount of money. Like how many friends will write you a check of 100,000 naira for your campaign. There are some races that you don't even need a dime to run, where you and your friends and family can actually go and contact each voter personally. But once you get into a larger race, you need to think about larger fundraising. You can sit down at home and ask yourself which people can give you huge amount of money for your campaign.
Now, now that we talk about assessing the landscape. How do you assess your landscape? You understand? And then we talk about your campaign capacity. So now we want to, that's when it comes to the question of how does the landscape fit with your campaign capacity. You need to check if your landscape, that is the scale, the opposition, the support of the local party, the election type, the time, and the resources, all what we discussed under assessing the landscape. You need to know if this matches with your campaign capacity. You need to know that. So that's when we come about the question of how does the landscape fit with your own with your campaign capacity. For example, if you are thinking of running for the Federal House of Assembly Senate, and you discover that in order to contact the amount of voters in your ward, you couldn't do that while keeping your jobs and etc. Think about other races out there that might fit your personal capacity. If you find out that the office you are originally thinking about isn't the best fit, do a little bit of research to see what else is out there that will best fit your capacity. So we will soon display in our website various political offices that you can run for in your area. So you can visit our website www.democracyfornigeria and find that out. Now that you have really matched your landscape with your capacity, so you need to make now. That's when it comes to the point of dotting I's and crossing T's. So what we mean by that is making sure everything is perfect and precise and you are ready to go. So the first point we want to talk about that is eligibility. You need to check your eligibility. Can you run? Is the question of eligibility in your place. You need to be registered voter in your ward in order for you to be eligible to run, to contest. You can check with the Board of Election, INEC, to know all the qualifications you need for various political offices in Nigeria.
You also need to find out those key dates you need to know before the election. You also file in petitions. In some places, you need some certain numbers of voters to sign petition in order to be qualified for the ballot. You need to find out how many petitions you need to sign and how they need to be signed. The filing cost, you need to find out the filing cost in your local board of election, how much you need to pay to get onto the ballot. On our website, we have compiled excuse me. On our website, we have compiled a lot of information for you. You can go to our website www.democracyfornigeria.org and click on Election Finder to find out election information about your state. What you need to file as a candidate, when is the primary, and all the relevant contact information. The resource is very good. Now, having perfected everything you need to do to make sure that the campaign succeeds, now think about the next step to take. The next step to take is you begin with engaging others. You can now start engaging people. You may want to start with friends, family, church members, mosque members, political allies, your co-workers, and let them know what you are doing. Because down the road, these people can be helpful. You want to empower people to do different work for you, and you want to differentiate roles between those people, and you want to give them real responsibility in your campaign. Doing voter contact file, fundraising, and on the election day, you will be grateful that you put that early time in your campaign.
So when you are taking the next step, The second point you need to think about, we believe, is find your win number. How do you find your win number? Your win number is going to guide you on all the decisions you made throughout your campaign. What a win number means essentially is an estimation of people based on past elections that are going to come out to vote on the particular race that you are contesting for. And essentially, the win number, in our own opinion, is 60% plus 1. Why we peg it to 60% plus 1 is because of the great deal of election irregularities in Nigeria. For example, now in Nigeria, where voters folding ballot paper, causing the ink to sludge beyond the thumb printing space. And so there's so many other reasons. That is why we insisted on this 60% plus 1 margin. Then the next point again is make a smart budget and a fundraising plan. Money. You know how much money that you are going to use to run your campaign and how you are going to get those the money. You need to ask yourself, how much I need to win? And how much do I need to raise to win? Figure it out by doing some research, checking with your local board of elections. The amount of money you need to win equals the amount you can raise so that you can win the election.
And lastly, you start conversation with your voters, those that you know are eligible to vote, that you already know. You start conversation with them. After knowing how many people you are going to be reaching out to in the future training, we are going to discuss how you might figure out who those people are, so that you know which doors you will be knocking on, which telephone numbers to call, so that you can be strategic on how you will invest your time in the race, and how you talk to people who are going to potentially be persuaded, and then how to bring them out to the polls and get that conversation going all the way until you are persuading them and bringing them out on the election day. This is how far we can go here. I hope you guys can join us again next week for the second session, which is getting started with your campaign. Now let us answer some questions.
Yes, we have some questions here that we don't have enough time to answer all the questions, but if we cannot be able to answer your question, you can just send your question to our email. It's now on the screen. You can see there at democracyfornigeria.org. We promise you we will answer your question and send it back to you as soon as possible. Just now, let's answer the question now. So the first question we have here. The first question we have here is from Adekunle. You know, the first question is from. Can I forward this training to Yes, get your friends on in case they are considering running for political office. It is good for democracy. It is good information to enlighten Nigeria, and this is good for democracy.
Another question came from Eze, and he asked, how can you prepare a good literature for your campaign? I think the best way to go about this is by knocking on doors and asking people the issue they care about.
There is another question here from Yomi, from I think it's from Ajebule. He has, can you be as effective using social networking, getting your message out there, as opposed to the traditional method of knocking on doors? In my own opinion, there is no substitute to knocking on doors, talking to voters on the issue that is important to them. Because why I say that is that the people who want to see you as a candidate, if you are the one that you are running contesting, they want to see you, they want to relate with you, they want to tell you their problem, and they want to see how you react to the problem, and you want to tell them what you will do to solve the problem. So they will gain more confidence when you go out there and talk to people.
A question from Tunde. He said, he asked, do you need money to start a campaign? Well, in my opinion, you just need to figure out the strategy to win. To start a local campaign, you need your friends and family first. Then later, when your campaign grows, you can involve staff to run on a larger scale. Rimi also wanted to know the ideal components of the campaign staff. You will want to employ someone that you can delegate responsibility to in some certain area of your campaign. Someone is reliable, trusted, somebody that understands politics very well, who can manage the operations of the campaign. Look for voters' contacts and fundraising, and mobilize fundraising.
Yeah, there's another question here that comes from Joel. I think it's from Ikeja. There about he said it's from Ikeja. Joel. He asks, do you guys connect people who are running for political office, who are contesting for political office with volunteers? Really, no. Now we are not doing that, but we are working on it. We are working on it. So you can you want you to go to our website to pledge your volunteers. If you are running for political office, so as to connect you with local volunteers in your area, just go to our website. There's a form to fill out your form, your name, the political office you are running for, which locality, which ward you are, you know, your telephone number and things like that. Your information, all the information we have on our website, just fill it out. Then we immediately we get a volunteer in your area that is willing to volunteer for your campaign. Then we will link the volunteer to your campaign.
A question from Musa has to do with the link for today, whether it will be the same that will be used in the future. No, it's not going to be the same. There will be a new unique link for every session we do. Just check your email box frequently for emails from us. If we are unable to answer your question tonight, you can further send your questions to career@democracyfornigeria.org so that we can answer them and send it back to you as soon as possible.
We're wishing you all the best with all the decisions you make in your future political career, and we hope you will join us next week for the second session, which is getting started with your campaign. You know, really, we need to start this new chain together, not really for today, but to make our tomorrows more gratifying, more fulfilling, and more arousing. So we thank you so much for joining us on this webinar, and God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.